you want like frequent small releases, because if you go for something huge by denying yourself before then you may have a big sense of anticipation, but basically also a lot of pent up denial, and then like this big boom and bust. So the simple like cognitive answer is positive expectations. So, like the feeling many people complain about, like, I wake up in the morning and I have nothing to look forward to, and I just go through the motions all day. So it's having something positive to look forward to. So even like I said, have your cup of coffee at 11 so that you're looking forward to it until 11. That would be a simple example. Or like space out things. I use all different examples, but have your dessert after your most difficult task of the day. So structure your personal rewards so that you don't have to give yourself excess rewards, which many people do. And many people give themselves reward without accomplishment. And then some people go, to the other extreme. They never reward themselves because they have this theory that they'll be perfectly happy all the time when, and then fill in the blank with whatever their theory is.
Once something finally happens in the future. Right.
Yeah.
I was listening to a neuroscience podcast this morning where they were talking about an optimal reward schedule as being, they were making the case that ideally you want to reward yourself after most instances of hard work, but occasionally it might be beneficial not to. And they suggested something like an 85 to 15% ratio might be the best. I think it was based on computer modeling or something, based on research that we know. So you reward yourself 85% of the time for doing some hard work, and then maybe every now and then you don't give yourself a reward.
Yeah, that's called an intermittent reward structure. And you probably heard the animal studies where if an animal gets the reward every time reliably, it sort of loses interest. But if it's not reliable, then you're like, whoa, what do I got to do to get this? And it keeps your interest. And again, the classic example is a slot machine.
And I think the other thing maybe worth just saying out loud here, even though you've alluded to it in the way you've spoken about this, is that it's all internal, right? This dopamine system isn't purely this sort of, I don't know what the right way of saying it, this pure sort of interaction with the environment that's unmediated by you as the individual. It's highly, highly mediated by you as the individual, to the point where the individual is largely deciding what it's going to reward, what he or she is going to reward themselves for. So meaning someone, to use exercise as an example, someone might say, I'm going to reward myself after I do this 15-mile run. And another person who is just starting an exercise regimen might say, I'm going to reward myself for just putting on my running shoes this morning because I'm taking one step in the direction of, getting on a running regimen or something like that. But it's largely internally structured, internally mediated rewards. Is that correct? How would you describe that?
Yes, and we're all doing it all the time. So this is only a means to do it more consciously, so you don't do, a common pattern that you hear about all the time is a person's very diligent all day until this certain time or this certain event, and then they just go wild and do a lot of things that they wish they didn't do. When you said it's mediated by you, it's the you were in adolescence. That's the missing link that we need to talk about. So we're born with billions of neurons, but no connections between them, almost no. And those connections build very quickly when you're under age 7, and again during puberty, because of a substance called myelin, which insulates neurons in the way that insulation on a wire makes them super efficient. So when I speak my native language, I can find the words so quickly because those are myelinated neurons. And for that reason, I don't even remember that I had to learn my native language. But if I try to speak a foreign language, I have to search for the words. So that's the same with our emotions, that the emotions that you had during your myelin years of what rewards and what threats you experienced is what turns on your pathways and your chemicals easily today. And what I'm suggesting to people is to honor their own power to build new pathways in the same way that you would learn a foreign language, which means you know it's possible, but you know it's not easy.